Good morning, everyone. It's Wednesday, February 18th. We do have a little bit of swell headed our way. It's nothing to get too all that excited about, although conditions should stay clean. A little bit of an offshore flow. Swell building in Friday, peaking on Saturday by the looks of things right now. It's not all that impressive, but still, as far as conditions go, it looks like it's going to be a fairly decent swell. Nothing all that sizable, though, on the long range. We've got a very negative pattern setting up, a lot of blocking going on in the western Pacific, and a storm track that's just about to descend over Southern California. So I wanted to show you everything that's going on right now on the models. This is what's happening right now. First, I'd like to start talking about the weather models, as this is going to have such a major influence over everything else in the report. A low is descending down from the Gulf right now. There's high pressure building on both sides of it with very strong pressure in the western Pacific. You can see where Southern California is located to the weaker high, and that's starting to bring in this nicer weather that we're having. A little bit of an offshore flow will be developing as well. As we start looking ahead in time on the models, we can see that that low would want to strengthen. You can see that high pressure in blue kind of surrounding it, which is causing that blocking pattern in the western Pacific, and also the high pressure moving into Southern California to bring some nicer weather. Then, of course, as we move out a little bit longer on the long-range models, just a couple days out, we're looking at strong high pressure moving in over Southern California, and that low still gathering a lot of strength. You can see, also notice that there's a lot of high pressure, a lot of blue over in that western Pacific. That low would continue to grow over the next few days, and then that high pressure system is looking to move toward the east and begin to break down. And as that breaks down, that can then bring in the storm track for Southern California. But notice here in the western Pacific that that blocking high continues. It's a very strong area of high pressure. That's going to have a big influence on the jet stream. I wanted to get to that in just a second, but before I do, I wanted to also talk about the precipitation that's possible from this. Here we're looking out on the long range, looking at about Saturday time frame. A little bit of rain that could be coming in, but then Sunday, looks like we could get quite wet by the looks of things. A big red area of rain moving over Southern California, and could be more coming along with it. As far as the storm track is concerned, here we can see that that blocking high, what it does to the jet stream. The jet stream here is in blue, and we can see that it would be pushing it far to the north, forcing storms way up into the Gulf of Alaska, and that would prohibit those western Pacific storms from coming our way for the long term, at least for the near term. And then, of course, we'd have the jet stream over Southern California. Not a favorable pattern for swell. It looks like, though, we could get more rain definitely into next week from this type of pattern. Now moving on to the wave models, we can see that that fetch has formed, just as models were saying it would. This is linked to that low pressure system from the weather, and that's probably about 1,200 miles away from us right now, and that's going to continue moving south towards Southern California. As it does, it is supposed to pick up some steam. We can see here, this is 24 hours out. A little bit stronger fetch, not really getting close to our coast, so it's looking to stay about 800 to 1,000 miles away from us. With only about a 20-foot fetch, though, that's not a whole lot of size, given that we're going to see a lot of decay from the 800 to 1,000 miles from that distance. Then looking out even farther, we can see that that fetch, though, is looking to move away from our coast. So not a whole lot of swell expected to come from that one. And then new storms trying to come in. You can see them up there near the Aleutians coming out of the western Pacific in red. They're going to get pushed far to the north if that jet stream does bend, just like it's showing. And all models agree that that high pressure in the western Pacific is going to keep blocking systems, pushing that jet stream far to the north. So we do have some swell headed our way Friday into Saturday. Right now my call is for Friday to start seeing that swell build, probably about chest high, coming in from 290 degrees in 14-second periods or so. Looks like it'll be building on Saturday, probably just about head high if that does progress southward, that fetch does, just as it's been showing over the last few days, and does continue to show on the models this morning as well. Then after that swell starts to fade, looks like rain will probably start moving in. We have a very good chance of getting some rain Saturday night into Sunday by the looks of the weather models right now. And as far as swell is concerned for the near and the long term, it's just not looking all that great right now. As far as the western Pacific is concerned, that strong high pressure is setting up a blocking pattern, so not looking favorable. Looks like anything we're going to see in the near term would be something dropping down from the Gulf of Alaska. As far as the southern hemisphere is concerned, still not a whole lot of activity happening right there. I'll be keeping an eye on it. You can always check out the latest ETA, winds, weather, tide, and more at my SoCal Surf Report on westsand.com.